forgot all about it. Until 1 year passed. The planet finished its orbit of the sun and spun into the debris field left behind by the comet, the residue of Cain's passage. This June, the sky would fall. That's what the newscasters said. The meteor shower was not as long-lasting as August's Perseids, but for several nights the sky flared and streaked and wheeled, the constellations seeming to rearrange themselves with ever-shifting tracks of light. At first hundreds, and then thousands, and then hundreds of thousands, and finally an uncountable storm of meteors. The ground shook, windows shattered, grids of electricity went dark, satellites shredded, radio signals scrambled, dogs howled, and people screamed their prayers. Many of the meteors dissolved in the atmosphere, but many struck the earth, sizzling into the ocean, splintering roofs, searing through ice, punching craters into fields and forests and mountainsides, like the seeds of the night. It was then that everything changed. 1. His father came in the front door and went directly to the picture window as if he couldn't decide whether he belonged inside or out. He stayed there a long time, studying the county highway that ran past their farm. Whenever a car grumbled by, he took a step back and tugged at the curtain, ready to drag it shut. Night was coming, but he snapped off the lamps in the living room. He didn't say hello to Hawken when the boy hugged his leg, but he absently patted his head. And he didn't respond to Hawken's mother when she called from the kitchen, "Henry, where in the hell have you been?" His father locked the door and walked over to the shelving unit where his mother kept her books and teapots and porcelain figures. He dug into his pocket and then stared at something cupped in his hand. He pulled down the Bible and hurried through its pages, sometimes pausing as if to take in a certain passage. He glanced back at Hawken, said, "What?" and then returned the Bible to its shelf. He paced in a circle and turned on the television, but with the volume down. Its shifting light and color made the room an uncertain space. The news played. Something about the historic meteor shower expected that evening, the beginning of a light show that could span several days. Hawken's teacher, Mrs. B., had talked about it. The fourth graders could keep a sky journal for extra credit. His father was balding, but kept his hair long enough to comb over and spray stiffly in place. Right now, several clumps of it stood upright and revealed the pale dome of his head. His eyes were red-rimmed and his cheeks unshaven, and he hadn't changed his clothes since yesterday when he'd driven off in the pickup and said he was going to make them some money. These days, he was always seeing about a job, trying to catch a break. A few years ago, he had sold their horses and their ATV and their fishing boat, and when Hawken asked why, he said he was retiring. Hawken knew he was too young for that. The only people who were retired in north-central Minnesota spent their days slumped in wheelchairs. You worked until you couldn't. You could be white-haired and wormed with veins and still put in your 10-hour shift as a waitress or bank teller or hairdresser. Retired might as well mean near dead. In fact, his father and hundreds of others had lost their jobs at Frontier Metals after the federal government shut down the mining lease on over 100,000 acres of land. Northfall was located at the edge of the Boundary Waters canoe area, and Hawken's parents and their friends complained constantly about the Forest Service and the BLM and the damned hippie vegan environmentalists who thought the land belonged to the owls and walleye. "These are the same sort of people that think you're killing a carrot when you eat it," his father would say. "I look at a tree, I see a house. I look at a deer, I see venison sausage. I look at a hill packed with iron, I see a skyscraper and a fleet of fighter jets and a club cab pickup with a chrome nutsack hanging from the hitch." Hawken heard his parents arguing through the walls at night. About money, mostly. About his father spending it on nonsense or blowing it on pipe dreams or throwing it away at the poker table until the bank account emptied. Why